Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I wanted to tell you guys about something that I just read in the media that I think is worth talking about. It turns out that a bunch of teachers have filed some sort of class action lawsuit against the federal government for student loans. As you know, the student loan trap is one of the next great debt crises that's going to hit America. Student loans are way out of control, ridiculously high. And I'm reading here on Yahoo Finance that America has $1 trillion student debt problem, and one group of borrowers has had enough. Teachers across America have gotten so frustrated with low pay and a broken federal loan forgiveness system, which supposedly forgives loans for people working in qualifying public service jobs after a decade of payments, that they've decided to sue the Department of Education. The American Federation of Teachers, the second largest teachers union in the U.S., alleges that the government's loan forgiveness program for public service workers does not function properly, and they're calling for a fix. Quote, the very agency that is supposedly the champion of our nation's educational system has failed to live up to its role in administering the program, asserts the lawsuit, which was filed in January. Over the past few years, student loan debt has been increasing exponentially, hitting more than 1.5 trillion in loans outstanding. Teachers who often have to take on postgraduate degrees to qualify for teaching positions are feeling the heat. They're now embarrassed. They said teachers are actually feeling embarrassed about their student loan debt. The United Federation of Teachers president Michael Mulgrew told Yahoo Finance that, quote, because the thing is, I went to school, I went to college, I wanted to become a teacher, I took loans, and now I'm paying $600, $700 a month off the bat every month for my student loan. It's a horrendous situation to be in. I agree. On top of that, everybody talks about it. You hear all the politicians talk about it, but the idea that they passed the student loan forgiveness federal program, and in reality, nobody gets to use it, well, that's insane. I'm looking at a chart here. After the financial crisis around 2007, student loan debt really rose. Around 2010, it was actually less than a trillion. It hit the $1 trillion mark in 2012. Now it's at 1.6 trillion. I'm reading here, low income, high debt. The road to teaching is a noble but expensive one. A recent survey by the social app Fishbowl, which looked at 10,000 responses from graduates, found that 65% of teachers have student debt. Quote, teachers have a lower median income and are taking on student debt at a higher rate than the other industries involved in our survey, according to Kyle McCarthy from this company called Fishbowl. On top of that, over 96% of teachers are spending their own personal money to provide underprivileged students with school supplies they need, leaving teachers with even less disposable income. It's a good example of the growing wealth inequality in our society. Now, there's a whole lot more here. There's a whole lot more data. I'm going to give you a quick interpretation of this, from what I understand as a financial guy. First thing I'll say is the American educational system is garbage. I think that is a huge opportunity for Black Americans as we try to compete. I talk to Black people. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to serve my community. If other communities benefit from my work, that's great, but I'm here to serve Black people. And so what I see is that there's a huge opportunity for Black people to get ahead of the curve, particularly in the financial literacy space, because America is a country that's filled with lazy people, uneducated, extremely uneducated people, and very entitled people, particularly people that they think they're educated, but they're really not, because our schools, our universities and high schools just don't push our kids the way they do in Russia or China or India. Now, if you had to compete with Indian students in engineering and math, that's really difficult, because when I was getting my PhD, I remember that the Russian and Indian students and the Chinese students would do things like they would memorize the entire math book. Like a lot of students, it's hard to get students to study 2 or 3 hours every 2 or 3 days in college. Whereas I met students that were from other countries who would study 12, 13 hours a day. So I learned that from them. I watched them and I said, okay, this is what it takes to be the best. I want to be the best. And so I think that as Black people, we have to establish culture that disconnects from the laziness of American culture. I don't think integration really helped us as Black people. I think that we would be better off if we really start drilling in on just really, really trying to be the absolute best, and teaching that to our children. So one of the things that we do in the Black Business School, for example, is we tell parents, send your child to business school at the age of 7. Don't wait till they're 18, 19, 20. That's what everybody else is doing. Send your child to business school at 7. You send them to basketball camp at 7, send them to football camp at 7, send them to business school at 7. So they'll be having an 11-year head start over everybody else. But here's the other thing. The reason that's important is because a lot of the reason people get trapped in caught in the debt trap is because they don't have the financial literacy to understand the simple mathematics of student loan debt, knowing how much you can borrow and how much you can expect to be able to repay with the amount of money you're going to make in the job market. Teachers are wonderful. Teachers are important. Teachers matter. If they wanted to pass a law tomorrow that said every teacher should make $150,000 a year, I would vote for that because I believe teachers and soldiers deserve all the respect we can give them. But unfortunately, you have a society, because capitalism kind of harms your democracy. You have a society where teachers are just not valued the way they should. You don't value the things you should value. So it's really kind of crumbling our country apart. So given that that's true, I would almost say to you, you want to make sure your children understand financial literacy so they know how to make other streams of income. So let's say that your student loan debt requires you to pay an extra $1,000 a month, $500 a month. Well, if you know how to get a side hustle, right? That even a small side hustle is making you $2,000 a month. Well, then the loans become easy to pay. But if you have no side hustle, it's very hard to pay student loans down with just one job. So really, just sort of preparing and changing the culture is a really important part of us surviving this thing. And everybody ain't going to survive because everybody isn't going to listen. Too many black people think they can get ahead by copying white people. I'm not telling you to copy white people. I'm telling you to figure it out on in terms of what works best for you and come up with a new culture. We need a new culture. That's just the honest to God truth. So when I'm reading this, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. And the people that really have it worse on student loans are people that major in the humanities. Also, African Americans are hit worse with the student loan crisis because 50% of all the black people who graduate from college cannot repay their student loans. They actually default. So a lot of the people that think they're going to do better for their family because they have a college degree actually end up doing worse because student loan debt is one of the great wealth drainers of the black community. So that's it. I'm about to go. If you're watching this on August 18th or somewhere around that time, I'll be in Atlanta next weekend doing a wealth seminar actually that you can feel free to check out at drboyceatlanta.com. It's worth flying in. Or also, if you want to come and hang out with me in Houston the following month at the All Black National Convention, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Or if you want to join my investing masterclass, we meet every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock and talk about wealth and investing and building a family culture of investing. So feel free to join the masterclass at drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.